Was there foul play when it comes to Hayden Panettiere's death? The very popular millennial actress who was in a lot of movies and was one of my crushes when I was a younger guy. I didn't know she was around my same age. She's 36 when she passed. I'll be 36 in September. But I think there's more to it than this. She seemed like she was in a pretty good place. Seems like she'd got past some addiction. So stick around to the very end. I've got my own little theory on what's happened and who did it. So stick around to the end, and don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy the channel. Let's get off into this.
Like this, could you talk to me about what that moment does to your psyche when you're that?
I mean, the fact that I was 18, even though I'd lived such a huge life and I thought I was so mature at 18, scientifically, her frontal lobes don't develop until we're, 25, 26. So even though I felt like I could make healthy decisions, safe decisions, I wasn't capable of being fully aware of what was going on around me. And it wasn't until I found myself in predicaments that I realized, my perspective completely shifted, and I realized that I was in danger. But by the time I'd realized I was in danger, I was quite literally out to sea. And it was that moment shook me and was shocking. And I was quite literally walked down, and I had been having a great time. There was no hints of anything like that happening. So it took me, I was shocked. It took me by surprise. And it was led by somebody that I had grown to trust and see as a...
This sounds real close to the Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell. She trusted probably a woman, that this woman led her to a man. This is a creepy resemblance here. Is this how the Hollywood weirdos always act?
Protector and somebody who had my back. And to be walked down, down the stairs, and it was as like a surprise, presented as though it was like a surprise, and it was this very small room, and she physically put me in the bed next to this undressed man who was very famous and had.
Which I'm gonna talk about who I think it is, and it's an eerie. The fact that this is a story about a boat, there's an eerie similarity to what he's doing now versus what she's saying. And she just came out with this book, I think in March, where she talks about all this stuff. So I don't know, these timelines are getting crazy. Just stick around to the end. I'm going to go over that.
Hands like this, like this was just, an average day for him. And this is something that happens all the time. And I waited for her to leave, and I mean, that lion in me, that fire in me, that my hair stood on end, and I became ferocious. I was like, this is not happening. But I had nowhere to hide, and I bolted, and I hid wherever I could think of to hide on a boat. There was no jumping off and swimming away, and there was nobody who was going to, I realized that there was nobody who was going to be empathetic to my situation, that this was nothing new to them.
See, that's the thing. If you want, and this is her book, I think That Is Me. This is the thing. You want to trap somebody to make them do something. Doing it on a boat is a great way to do it, because you got to think, mafia bosses used to do this. They take guys out on boats and then they make them do things, or they chunk them off the boat and things like that. So I saw this and immediately was like, Hayden Panettiere, she hasn't really been in the news or anything crazy, but this book did just come out. I believe it was in March. When did Hayden, and I think she was battling some addiction, book come out? I want to say it was in March. It was May 19th. May 19th of 2026. So this book just came out. It's called This Is Me Reckoning, which is very, very suspectuals. Just came out with a book. Just passed. Seems like her life was going good. She had got over her addiction. I don't know. This is kind of like my first internet sleuthing episode. So let me know if you guys actually enjoy this. We're going to get back into this interview for a second, though.
I mean, that sounds... It's such a horrifying event to go through, and to be put in that position at 18 years old.
And disappointing when somebody lets you down like that. And I'd been let down so much before, and that when you really find somebody that you trust, like, you hold on to them for dear life, and you feel so lucky. So to be betrayed like that is just an awful feeling.
And now a break from our sponsor, Miracle.
I mean, of course, Jay Shetty, you would do that. You would do that at the worst possible time. She's like giving this heartfelt, admission here, and you're going to run an ad. Brutal.
How do you decide who you trust now?
It doesn't seem like I've done much of a very good job. I don't think I've gotten much better at choosing on one hand, because I do feel like there are certain people that with negative energy and that are just not good people that have been drawn to me for whatever reason, and who I've not seen clearly immediately. It took me a while. Like, they really were able to.
That's also the problem with Hollywood, is you're building a lot of superficial relationships where it gets to the point, if you're not providing them with a level of value, and if you don't have a level of clout, then they don't really care about you. And that's the brutal nature of Hollywood, in my opinion, is that if you're not giving them something or boosting them up in some way, then they don't really want to associate with you. But let's just look at some of the news.
This morning, Hollywood is mourning the sudden death of actress Hayden Panettiere, who passed away in South Carolina
about it. Play.
At the age of 36.
So young.
Police reportedly responding to a 911 call for an unresponsive woman Sunday afternoon. Panettiere dying at the scene. The case is now under investigation, but officials say there are no signs of foul play or suspicious circumstances.
This one's for you.
Panettiere grew up in front of the world.
Thank you, Aunt Ricky.
Her career began at the age of 11 months old, acting in
Bro, who does this to their kids? 11 months old?
commercials.
I'm so happy.
As a child, she landed roles in Remember the Titans.
That was a hold? Oh, come on, that was such a bad call.
And voiced the character Dot in A Bug's Life.
Dot!
Yes, Mother.
What did I tell you about trying to fly?
Not until my wings grow in.
And for millions, Hayden Panettiere was Claire Bennett,
I'm tired of trying to be someone I'm not.
the seemingly indestructible cheerleader at the center of the 2000 show Heroes.
Save the cheerleader, save the world.
And then Panettiere's career reached new heights.
Oh, she's a singer now? I didn't even know she was singing. I just knew she was an actress.
Country music superstar whose turbulent personal life often echoed Panettiere's own struggles.
Oh, so it's in a show. Got it.
A role earning her 2 Golden Globe nominations, and Panettiere later revealing sometimes the lines were blurred between acting and reality.
Special Agent Kirby Reed, FBI.
Hayden was back on the big screen as a scream queen, returning to the role of Kirby Reed more than a decade after first playing her in the Scream franchise. Panettiere, a frequent guest on Good Morning America throughout the years, stopping by to talk about stepping back into the spotlight.
Yes. What made you jump back into this, like the scary world, and I don't mean acting, but the scary world of the Scream movies?
Well,
Acting is a scary world there. So a lot of evil forces at play, bro.
I didn't know what I wanted to do next. I did have to take those 4 years off, and thank God I did. I had to work on myself, my mental health, my physical health, spiritual health. And then when it popped up and it came back around, I was like, I want to be a part of that again.
Away from the screen, she was open about her struggles with depression and addiction. Following the birth of her daughter Kaya in 2014, Panettiere says she experienced severe postpartum depression and struggled with alcohol and opioid addiction.
I came out the other side sober, but still with this horrible anxiety and depression. I started not even being able to leave my house.
In her recent memoir, This Is Me, A Reckoning, released just in May, Panettiere described those years with unusual candor, writing and speaking publicly about addiction, depression, motherhood, and the pressures of growing up in the spotlight. Amid those struggles, Panettiere painfully giving up custody of her daughter, Kaya.
That's brutal.
I got to the point of looking in the mirror and seeing my eyes had turned yellow. And that I didn't recognize my body anymore.
Her cause of death has not been released, but Panettiere's family saying She was an incredible light and a force of nature.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like with people with depression and things like that, this is something I've never had, so I don't really know. And for anybody that's had depression, maybe you can educate me a little bit here. But for me, it's just the timing is so suspect, dude. The timing is so suspect.
Marcus, thank you. Now we continue to...
Like, she seemed like she was in a pretty good spot, and then all of a sudden she's gone.
Follow this breaking news from overnight. Actress Hayden Panettiere has died at the age of 36. We have learned she died at an apartment in Greenville, South Carolina.
Now condolences and memories of her are pouring in. Peyton Kennedy has the latest details now at the WKRN.com alert desk. Peyton.
And Greenville police and EMS were sent to an apartment complex in Greenville, South Carolina around 2 p.m. on Sunday. Now, police say an acquaintance of Panettiere called 911, reporting she was unresponsive at the Judson Mill lofts. She was given medical aid but died at the scene. Police say right now there are no signs of foul play or suspicious circumstances. Hayden Panettiere's father shared a statement Sunday saying, quote, "It is with profound sadness that we share the tragic passing of our beloved Hayden. She was an incredible light and force of nature who brought immeasurable love and joy to all who knew her and to the millions who watched her on screen," end quote. Hayden Panettiere launched her career as a child and later starred in Nashville and Heroes. She also appeared in Remember the Titans, Ice Princess, and the Scream franchise. These are just some of the responses posted online by her co-stars, friends, and other celebrities. Panettiere just released a memoir this past May. A synopsis for the book says she opens up about postpartum depression, addiction, trauma, domestic abuse, and loss. The 36-year-old leaves behind a young daughter. Her cause of death is under investigation.
See, I don't know, man. It just seems suspect, dude. I don't know. She seemed like she was doing good. So I did some internet sleuthing, and I found out that in her book, she talks about this reckoning. She talks about a famous she does not explicitly name the British musician. She refers to him only as a famous 30-something British singer-songwriter whom a trusted friend identified in the book as Stella McCamus, which is allegedly is a made-up name, allegedly encouraged her to join in bed on a yacht in the French Riviera with Panettiere when she was 18. Okay, I did some looking, and I don't know if this is right. So I don't know if this is right. This book came out on May 19th, right? I was just looking through some things, and I was like, okay, if this was when she was 18, she's 36. This is about 18 years ago, right? About 18 years ago, right? I mean, right? Okay, cool. So let's look at this. Here's they're saying this guy's a British rocker. They're saying this is what people are saying. I don't know. This could be wrong. They're saying that it's James Blunt. The weird thing about this is James Blunt just released an A24 horror film inspired video for a new single, On a Boat. Little suspect? I think so. I didn't even know James Blunt was still doing stuff. I just remember him from You're Beautiful. Okay. James says, tastes like summer binds the joy of summer to the joy of being attracted to someone. The lyrics read, your skin tastes like summer, and you know what? He really did. Okay. Let's look at how old, and then I started getting into, I was like, how old is James Blunt? James Blunt is 52 years old. Okay? 52 minus 18 is 34. I'm just saying, dude. Famous 30-something British singer-songwriter who a trusted friend encouraged to join on a yacht in the French Riviera. He's on a boat. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's James Blunt had something to do with this. This is a crazy speculation. This is my first attempt at sleuthing. This is my first attempt. And I feel pretty confident that there's something going on between him and her. Maybe he wasn't the one that unalived her or something like that. But I almost biggity bet you he was the one that was on the boat at that time. she explains, south of France aboard what she describes as a super yacht filled with celebrities. At the time, she was traveling with a woman she considered one of her closest confidants. She recalls spending days enjoying life aboard the yacht, swimming in the Mediterranean, dancing until sunrise, and mingling with glamorous guests before the situation took a really dark turn. Toward the end of the trip, Panettiere says her friend approached her during dinner and asked her to come downstairs and meet someone. After walking through a narrow hallway into a private cabin, Panettiere says she discovered a famous 30-something British singer shirtless in a bed under the sheets, which could be James Blunt. Oh my God, I thought, is he naked under there? She writes, claiming he trusted her friend, whispered to her, I want you to get in bed with him before leaving them alone. Though she writes she initially complied in shock, Panettiere says she immediately began to mentally disconnect from the situation. My body no longer felt like my own. That years of being managed by adults in the entertainment industry had conditioned her to trust people around her and suppress her instincts. As soon as the door clicked closed, my survival instinct kicked in, she writes. Then she says she told the man, look, I don't know what she said to you, but this is not going to happen. The actress says she quickly climbed out of bed, ran from the room, returned to her cabin where she booked a hotel and began packing to leave the yacht. I felt like I'd been kicked in the face. She's confided in me, pampered me, and treated me like a best friend, then turned me around and treated me like a call girl. The fact that I was 18, even though I'd lived such a huge life and thought I was oh so mature. So even though I felt like I could make healthy decisions, I wasn't capable of being fully aware. I'm telling you, bro, this is what Hollywood does to people. They drag you in, and then they spit you out. They chew you up, and then they spit you out. I just saw this, and I just started doing a little bit of digging. This was only about an hour worth of digging. This wasn't a ton of digging here. But once I found out kind of the backstory of some of this, I was like, bruh, this doesn't sound right. Out of nowhere, she's just unalived. I don't know, man. Something's going on with this. Something's going on with this. Let's go over some of the comments of a previous video here. This is the Mel Gibson said this. Now they want it gone. Let's see if this will load or if my internet's going to cuck me. Hollywood ostracized anyone to go against their agenda. Children are being trafficked to fight against this. Back when I was trying to break into acting, I met a producer who told me sex is the currency in Hollywood. Mel seems like a bro. Imagine how gutted these bigwig executives were after turning down Mel for him for $45 million just to having a massive hit. Yeah, I'm glad Gibson walked around the system and earned it by himself. God uses the broken to deliver his most powerful messages. Mel Gibson has all my respect. Mel's the GOAT. Mel was right in 2004. He's right now. Mel was right. What's crazy is most Hollywood does way worse than Mel being drunk and talking smack. But it only leaked when he talked about the true reason Hollywood hates him because of his faith. A spouse can make you unreasonable and irrational. Give me Mel over floppy wood perps and sickos any day. He committed the unforgivable sin of not liking the Little Hat Mafia. They ruined the Mad Max series by making it all woke. Mel's a hero. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, man, it's a crazy world we live in. But you got to think if people with this level of power, if they can say, I can make you famous, I can give you what you always wanted, they say this stuff and they give it to you, they want something in return. They either want your innocence, they want something that's beloved to you or cherished to you, they want your family, they want something. You gotta sacrifice something. And it's gotta be big. It's gotta mean something. It can't just be meaningless. But I don't know. What do you guys think about this Hayden Panettiere situation? I knew growing up, I was like, man, I remember her from Remember the Titans, and she was in a couple movies that, we watched as a kid, and you'd crush on her and things like that. But it's really sad to see her gone at 36. I feel like 36 is a very young age. I'm about to be 36, and I can't imagine. I don't feel like I've accomplished that much in my 35 years, soon to be 36 years on this planet. And for her to be taken away so soon, it's just very odd to me. I mean, maybe she was battling some mental health things. Maybe that's the case, but I feel like a lot of the things that happened to her in Hollywood probably caught up with her, and who knows what happened. Do you think James Blunt did it? Do you think somebody else from Hollywood did it? Let me know in the comments what you think. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It's always good to have you guys out, man. Until next time. Peace. Levi Nichs Show.